Hi, everybody. I'm going to talk about the future of Fashtech today. I'm sorry, it's a new deck, so I do have notes. I apologize. The report that we've done, we just put out last week, so it's all completely fresh content, and it is there on your table. There is a copy of it for everybody. So just a little bit about me. So I'm Laurel Wolfe. I work at Klarna. I look after the UK marketing. I also cover the US and the Netherlands, growth markets, where we're trying to get a footprint into the retail market. I've been at Klarna for 2 years. Things have really changed over the past few months, in fact, in the UK. Who has heard of Klarna and who hasn't? So if I had done that 2 years ago when I started, nobody would have raised their hand. So I feel really happy that we are getting some great traction, and we work with a lot of fantastic merchants. Prior to coming to Klarna, I worked for 9 years at another payments company called Verifone, quite a lot of in-store there. So I have a lot of experience launching new technologies with retailers like contactless, all the pays. I launched Apple Pay and Samsung Pay when I was at Verifone with various retailers. So I really love working with retailers to integrate new technology that also benefits shoppers in the end. I think what's great about what we do is that everyone's a shopper, so it's totally relatable, and we know what we like and what we don't like. So just what we'll cover today, some different topics, a little bit about Klarna. I know it was great, the response I just got there. We were founded in 2005, but only around in the UK for the past few years. Our headquarters is in Stockholm. We work with over 100,000 merchants. You'll see some of those great names there, like ASOS. Just this week, we announced a partnership with H&M, so fantastic brands. We're active in 14 markets. We manage 10% of all online transactions in Europe. We have 2,000 employees, and last year, 19 million consumers used Klarna. What we do, we divide the product portfolio up into 3 things: Pay Now, Pay Later, and Slice It. Pay Now is an online checkout and payments gateway that facilitates immediate transactions via card or other alternative payment method. Pay Later, that's what we are really known for. It allows people to buy goods and pay for them 30 days later. We don't take any card details to do that. It's a form of invoice. And then we also do Slice It, which is consumer credit, so it allows people to pay for higher ticket items in monthly installments. So, technology and fashion. We are at the intersection of trends and innovation. They say that fashion instantly tells the story of where we are now and where we want to go. When it comes to fashion retailing, that's certainly true. Fashion retailers want to embrace technical innovation, evolve with it, and be the first to champion transformational investments, but only if it resonates with what shoppers want. We live in a world today where we are so dependent on our digital life. As technology develops, so does the way we use it. Our smartphones, tablets, laptops are all second nature to us, and this has also changed fundamentally how we purchase goods. Fashion retailing is an extremely competitive market with a broad range of consumers, which means it's the perfect melting pot for innovation and to try new things. Merchants looking to gain sales and increase brand loyalty are increasingly turning to new technologies to deliver a better user experience that sets them apart from their competition. What do merchants need to do when it comes to evaluating the hot new tech trends? They need to assess which technology initiatives will inspire fashion shoppers. They need to evaluate consumers actually want from new technologies and how retailers should prioritize around this, and ensure they are investing in the right technologies for their customers. So our research shows that the fashion industry is adopting technology with enthusiasm. 94% of merchants are already investing in new technologies to meet the needs of increasingly younger base. 40% have already introduced smart payment options, such as pay after delivery or cardless payments, and 32% have developed fully virtual stores that can be viewed online. Just a little bit about the research. So we interviewed, Klarna commissioned 2,000 consumers, asking them about their opinions and attitudes towards technology and fashion. We also interviewed 50 retail decision makers in fashion. We got some insight from a very interesting guy that is a retail futurologist named Howard Saunders. And then we also had a partnership earlier this year with London College of Fashion, working closely with the students there, the Fashtech students, to see kind of where their minds are at. These are the bright young minds of the future. What are they thinking about? What are they coming up with? And that is how we pulled together the report. So here are the 4 hottest tech trends that merchants mentioned in our research: personalization, customization, and 3D printing. As fashion retailers know, it's all about self-expression. Fashion is a way for individuals to make a statement, communicate their personal brand, and differentiate themselves from one another. So access to personalized garments or accessories could become a huge trend within the fashion industry in the future. But to achieve this, retailers have to work hard to reach scale, speed, and production at a cost-effective price point, because these types of things are always going to have a premium price. It's safe to say that 3D printing is still in its infancy, but the idea of printing personalized clothing or accessories is certainly an interesting one. The manufacturing of footwear is one example. 3D printing is in that fast-growing segment in footwear. Brands like Adidas are adapting to the advances of creating like personalized bespoke insoles, as an example. Next up is smart fabrics. So it's becoming more apparent that shoppers have become interested in type of materials they wear. So it's not just about trendy outfits, but it's about high-quality fabrics that are durable. Fabrics are becoming increasingly interwoven with technology as developments in fields such as nanotechnology, polymer development, and low sensors are transforming clothing itself. Smart fabrics are so sophisticated that products are now integrating sensors to generate, monitor, and measure data-driven results in heart rate, body temperature, even emotion. So these fabrics are becoming a reality, but when we asked consumers if they were that interested in them, only 5% wanted those smart fabrics connected to their smartphone devices. I have to say, in our partnership with London College of Fashion, this was the most interesting one to the students. They really wanted to dig into this, the idea of the smart fabric, and like how it could change based on how you felt that day. AR and VR. Smart technology is reinventing how we choose and try on outfits. Artificial and virtual reality offers a huge range of unique experiences, including, in particular, digital mirrors that allow for shoppers to browse and see what outfits would look like on them without having to physically try them on. Although consumer profiles and avatars might not just be exact yet, it's a unique way for people to sample products. By 2020, experts say AR and VR will be worth $150 billion. Our research revealed that 32% of UK fashion merchants have already invested in a virtual store, which can be viewed online in an effort to blend the in-store and the online experiences. And the next up came up a lot in our discussions with merchants, drones. So the appeal here is instant gratification and that it's cool. It provides the ability for instant fulfillment to meet the needs of the want-it-now generation. Drones obviously reduce delivery times. They allow brands to differentiate, encourage loyalty through an interesting experience. They also make a really good PR hook. And fashion constitutes a large part of the e-commerce click and deliver markets, but way more men than women were interested in receiving fashion items via drone. So what do the consumers think? What do they want from technology and fashion? A lot of the responses that we got from consumers were about confidence in fit. Fashion retailers or fashion shoppers would like future technology to help them get the right look and fit. 23% would like the ability to see clothes on themselves without having to try them on. 42% of shoppers would like to input their own measurements to ensure fit before ordering. And 29% would like to do body scanning. They also are very interested in online, the online channel being perfect. So online investment. 42% of merchants actually admitted they were so focused on getting online right that in-store technology wasn't necessarily a priority, but 40% of shoppers agree that shopping online is more convenient for them. And almost all of the shoppers responded that they wanted mobile channels to be frictionless and not frustrating them. Interaction, 24% of consumers wanted face-to-face experience, while 12% would like to see more smart kiosks, which provide recommendations, personalized recommendations. But only 23% would like to see how they'd look in clothes without trying them on using virtual reality. Personalization, so 37% of shoppers would be happy for merchants to use online data, social media, online history to offer personal recommendations or discounts. I think that one's actually really interesting because I feel like in the market things are changing about what we think is how open we are with our personal data. We're willing to give more away to get something in return. Fashion ethics, this one was quite interesting too. Consumers are now more interested in how their clothing is made and how it's been sourced. 18% of people would like their clothing to have a traceable supply chain, and that number was even higher for 16 to 24-year-olds. It was 24%. Experience, more than 1 in 4 shoppers think physical stores seem more old-fashioned than online, and 49% said that when shopping in store, they miss the personalized experience they can get online. So where does this leave Fashtech? Our research revealed merchants want to include there we go. More customization for the customer, 56% wanted that. Smarter payments, so they wanted the start of the cashless society, 46%. And they want increased sustainability, so improving ethical standards, 44% wanted to do those things. And then merchants want technology to address these problems for them, predicting what consumers want to buy and when, customers returning items causing stock issues, and blending the online and in-store experience. And then just contrast that with how to balance tech buzz with business with the consumer responses. So only 5% of shoppers were interested in smart fabrics, 8% understood what 3D printing can bring to the retail experience, and 18%, only 8% want fashion goods delivered via drone. So what's clear here is that merchants are working on interesting and cool tech. The consumers don't necessarily understand what that cool tech can bring to them. What is the benefit to them? However, everyone can agree on these things. Getting the fit right is important. 30% of women would embrace having their bodies fully scanned if the outcome meant the fitting experience was resolved and stress-free. So that's quite a high number for something that's a little bit invasive. And they also want to strengthen connections. So shoppers make a choice to come to your shop. They should be recognized for it and rewarded for it. And as a result, people will be more likely to be enticed to stay longer and make that purchase, because they feel valued. So that idea of value comes up again. Have to be valued, recognized person for doing something that you want them to do. So in conclusion, retailers need to prepare to get closer with tailored experiences. So with Klarna, we understand the importance of rewarding individuals and creating a community in the drive to boost conversion, sales, and loyalty. We are working with ASOS and Topshop. They're already leveraging our Pay Later to target key demographics, build social campaigns, launch new products, and create tailored promotions. We create our products to remove barriers in the checkout. So instead, we can have a friction-free experience that is smooth and convenient. We know that merchants will need to focus on function over fads in the digitalization of retail. So with our online checkout, fashion retailers can remove extra steps in the path to purchase, offer one-click repeat purchases. That's across our entire merchant network, so we remember the shopper no matter which merchant they came in from, and optimize for mobile to create the best possible sales experience. Prioritize greater online and in-store harmony. So recognize the need for flexible pay over time options in-store. Klarna's payment methods can also be offered in physical environments as well as online to create seamless omni-channel experience. And they need to get ready for a change in the changing room. So with Klarna, we help online merchants tackle issues around consumer confidence, size, and fit. Pay Later lets fashion buyers turn their sitting room into a fitting room, so they can order multiple items and only part with their cash once they're sure the fit is right for them. Just on Pay Later specifically, our merchants have experienced a 22% increase in the number of items per basket, 20% increase in purchase frequency, 15% increase in basket value. And it's never any risk. Pay Later has no risk to the merchant. We pay you immediately, and then we collect the funds directly from the shopper. So happy customer, happy you. And then finally, the growth over the past year has, as I mentioned earlier, has been really great. We now see that when Pay Later is available, 1 in 3 fashion shoppers are opting for Pay Later, and the increase in usage has been 5-fold since the beginning of the year. I like to say that once somebody uses Pay Later once, they're a Klarna lover forever. They start to actively seek it out and use it again and again. I kind of liken it to the idea of contactless transactions. When we first started doing contacts in the UK, people were hesitant. They didn't quite want to use the contactless. They're maybe a little bit afraid. But now there's no going back. When somebody asks me for a PIN, I'm upset. That 5 seconds is an issue to me. So I feel this is a little bit the same. And I'll just finish up here. What we like to say is that we give shoppers superpowers. We give them joy. We put the joy back into buying by doing things differently, giving them some different ways to pay. We reward consumers with time savings by making commerce frictionless and convenient and fast. And finally, we give consumers financial control with payment choice, flexible financing, multiple payment methods. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We've got 10 minutes for questions. If you want to cover up 10 minutes, we've got a couple already. So where's the microphone? Microphone, Lee? Have you got it? Is she gone?
It's all right, I'll do it.
Do you want me to give it to? I don't mind. Sorry, somebody on this table? Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I work for a luxury women's wear brand.
Yep.
I have a few questions actually about Klarna. The first
okay,
one
don't
is,
worry.
what happens from a consumer point of view? What happens if I can't pay?
Yeah, so if you're using Pay Later and you can't pay, if the debt remains unpaid for 60 days, we might report you to a credit agency, a reference agency, but we will never charge any late payment fees. There's no interest associated with Pay Later. There's never any charge to use the service or interest. So Pay Later is completely free for the consumer. The only risk is if it remains unpaid, we will report you to a credit reference agency. But if you contact us and say that you're having trouble repaying the debt, we have people specially trained in helping vulnerable customers. That's what that would be in that occasion. So helping them manage their finances.
Another one. I've tried to use Klarna myself on ASOS.
Yeah.
And I went through the checkout process, not because I needed it, I wanted to see how it would work, because obviously I'm in e-commerce. And I was declined. I was not a user. My credit is great.
You were offered it? Did you see it in the checkout?
Yeah, it was an option to see whether I could actually use it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, it was quite easy to use in terms of, it took me through and then it said, sorry, you're not eligible to use Klarna.
Yep.
I don't have a bad credit rating, so I was wondering what that would be. Could it?
So we do a soft credit check on Pay Later. So it's a multiple factor. So it might be time of day, it might be that credit score, it might be the data that you entered in. We very much like the first purchase to include the same shipping and billing address. If you enter two different addresses, that can sometimes be an issue. So there are factors that can influence whether you are accepted or not. But everyone who sees Pay Later is given a soft credit check. So that is like our first check for offering the payment method.
Okay, so that could be an issue with me. For
We
instance,
often
not being on the electoral roll, things
That's
like
another
that,
one,
because
yes.
I'm Norwegian, but I live in the
Exactly.
UK.
So there's factors like that we're checking. But one
Yeah.
of the common ones is that people on the first transaction for Pay Later are putting in a different shipping and billing, and that can sometimes say a
Always
fraud,
do that,
a fraud,
because I always
a fraud
have to deliver
trigger.
to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's best to do the first one with the same address.
Okay. I think that was it.
Yeah.
At the back. Very back table there.
But before, surely the answer to that problem is you don't offer Pay Later when somebody enters. Don't even offer it if that's the situation. But my question was actually about your insight into body scanning. I know it makes no difference to Klarna, but I'm interested in the insight. Who do you know is doing anything about that insight? Who is acting on that insight?
There are some people that, I'm not sure they're doing scanning, but there's one that do Fits Me, for example, is one person where you're putting in your measurements and then they are making sure that the garment would fit you or not fit you. But I'm not actually sure they're not doing body scanning per se. It's more entering of your measurements and then evaluating whether the outfit fits or not, the garment fits or not. That doesn't really answer your question, though. Sorry. We're not body scanning experts at Klarna, I have to admit.
Gentleman here. Just in relation to that question, obviously everybody's saying personalisation, body fitting, all this stuff creates the big problem for retailers around returns. Was anything touched on in the research about how committed those customers are? Basically, you're tying yourself in if you've got yourself a £200 shoe and it's got your personalised details on it. Nobody
hopefully-
talked about returns.
Hopefully it's going to fit. So we
Yeah.
didn't talk about
Yeah.
returns in that instance.
But hopefully it'll fit,
But
and
that's why
hopefully
you do those
personalised.
things, because that
Yeah.
you are going to get it perfect for you.
Okay.
That's why people want to do
But
those
that
things.
overhead will come back
I
on the retailer.
suppose that would
yeah.
be an issue for retailers
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
future if that didn't work and it
Yeah.
didn't fit.
Okay.
Just in answer to that question, actually, I'm involved with a Austrian-based multi-brand shoe retailer, and we do foot and shoe scanning, and we kind of invested into a venture who's helping us doing that. The problem, though, is the business case. I agree with the theory that customers do want fitting, but our experience is it's a nice value add, but the numbers don't work for us at this stage. So we do this because we have to do it to to defend market share, if anything else. But we certainly it's not a growth opportunity for us at this stage. It's a very difficult. I mean, you gave us a list of interesting innovations. The problem we are having is to know where to invest.
Yeah.
And to invest today into a fitting technology is a very difficult business case. I'm not sure whether the business case actually exists.
I think that the thing to say there, though, that probably was the main issue people were having when we were interviewing or doing the consumer research. That's what came out, is that sizing and fit was their biggest frustration. They want mechanisms to make that easier for them. So when you're trying to evaluate something that would help that versus drones, which nobody was really that interested in except from a cool factor, then that helps you make that investment justified. As long as the shopper is interested in it, the consumer wants it, that helps build that business case.
If anyone is interested in shoe fitting, it's called Safe Size.
Okay. Any more questions around the room? Over right in the back corner. Again, keeping you fit. Sorry, I bought that for you.
It's very hot in here, isn't
It
it?
is really hot. Yeah.
It's the lights.
Hi. I just wanted to really ask you, you talked about the new smart technology to do with clothing. Has nobody thought about whether some of this stuff is biodegradable? And also, you talk about the drones. Again, the noise involved of a whole load of drones flying around. What if one drops out of the sky and kills someone? And finally, when you were saying about the payments, and again, alluding to what the other person said about people non-payment. So say somebody, pay later, but then they haven't paid or they can't pay, and you said you've got credit people, obviously they have to pass a certain criteria, and you've got people who'd advise them and everything else. But then how long has a retailer got to wait for that money? Surely you don't sit on the burden of
Yeah, we do.
You'll sit on the burden
We pay the merchant immediately. They are always paid up
Wow.
front. Our job is collecting the funds from the shopper. So it's our responsibility to get that money back. The merchant is not affected.
And wow, and I don't know if you can answer this figure, but currently, how much debt are you sitting on of consumers who haven't paid?
Yeah, no,
Can't pay.
I can't. I won't. I don't. I actually don't know.
Because
But I can't
it's a
say
huge
anyway.
burden for you guys. I mean,
But that's the business we're
That's the
in.
business.
That's
Wow.
what we've been doing for
Okay.
years. So we're
Well,
good
that's
at
great.
it.
No, I'm sure you are.
Can-
Well done.
Can I just add
Thanks.
one to that? In my dim and distant past was part of the catalogue empire of Littlewoods, and that was the reality. You just all payments were pretty much delayed. That was baked in, and we were talking about in a bad year, you're talking about a 6% bad debt rate, depending on who you've recruited as customers. So, provided you bake it into the business model, then it can work. Okay. Oh, we have one more. Sorry, I can't see the hand. Somebody else can. So hard to see up here.
I know.
Did you point someone out? I can't
don't
see
see- I
anyone.
didn't see
I
anyone.
can't see any hands. Oh, sorry. maybe it's the, there you go. Sorry. Apologies for not being able to see.
Hi there. So a scenario as a customer. I've just purchased a 75-inch television for £1,000 on interest-free or pay later. I've got free delivery. I've got a UK postcode, but I'm in Northern Ireland. I've opened it, turned it on, inspected it as I would in a store, and I decided it's not good enough. I live on the 3rd floor in a flat. I've destroyed the packaging. What happens now? Because the reverse logistics of that,
Yeah,
you're talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds to recover that good, and it's no longer sellable.
So in that case, if it would have been on credit, so it would have been what we call slice it. So it would have been a credit because it's £1,000. That wouldn't have been pay later. But the returns process is exactly, we don't do the returns. The returns process will be exactly whatever the merchant already specifies. So if you wanted to return the goods and the merchant allowed it, regardless of the state it was in, then you would return it as per their instructions. We don't handle the returns.
Okay, but I'm almost effectively just breaking the contract within the cooling off period and said, no, I don't want it. Come get it.
And then we would cancel the credit contract because you've returned the goods.
Right, okay.
Okay. Well, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Laurel. No problem. And I believe lunch is in order. Thank you very much.